Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is Malwati Johannes. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like our channel, and also try to comment below. If you have any queries, please don't hesitate to give us a comment, and we'll be happy to assist you. All right. Did you know that we've got metamorphic rocks which are about 2.7 billion years ago, and these rocks are bounded between the Kaapvaal craton in South Africa and the Zimbabwe craton, right, in Zimbabwe, and initially. So these rocks are called Limpopo Mobile Belt and are of 2.7 billion years. All right. So today we're going to be talking about those rocks. Okay. So the Limpopo Mobile Belt, as I've said, are these rocks. These rocks over here. All right. These rocks over here, and these rocks they are bounded between the Zimbabwe craton and also the Kaapvaal craton in South Africa. All right, and as you can see, they are trending northeast southwest. Okay, they're trending northeast southwest. So these are high-grade metamorphic rocks that are of Archean age. All right, and as you can see, they are divided mainly into three zones, which is Southern Marginal Zone, Central Zone, and what you call the Northern Zone. And then these zones, they are separated by the major shear zones. All right, as you can see that the zone which separates the Kaapvaal craton from the southern zone, so from the southern marginal zone, is what we call the Howard River shear zone. All right, is this one, Howard River shear zone, and the zone which separates the southern marginal zone from the central marginal zone is what you call the Balala shear zone. And then the zone which separated the central zone from the northern marginal zone is what you call the triangle shear zone. And last but not least, the zone which separated or the thrust shear zone which separated the northern marginal zone from the Zimbabwe craton in the north is what we call the Umlayi thrust zone. All right, so this is basically Limpopo Mobile Belt, and we're gonna spend much of our time discussing the major events which happened right within each zone, that is to say southern marginal zone, central zone, and the northern marginal zone. As you can see right on your far left of this map, you can see that we've got Z, which represent Zimbabwe craton, and then we've got Zimbabwe craton in Zimbabwe or Rhodesia, and then we've got the South Africa, okay, which is represented by the Kaapvaal craton. Then right in between, we've got the zone of high grade metamorphic rocks, which are trending northeast southwest. And then these rocks, they have been affected by so many metamorphic events, and which is why some of them, they are highly deformed, and some are showing magmatic textures. Okay, all right, and they are highly deformed, as I've explained. Okay, so Limpopo Mobile Belt is, and it's extensive and it's trending. These are the key things. It's of 2.7 billion years, but of course, as we go on, we're gonna be talking about some controversies about this age, because this is science. We can never be exact, but most scientists agree with these 2.7 billion years. But like I said, the age is controversial. All right. So, and it's also trending northeast, southwest. You've seen it was trending like this. Okay. This is a linear. Let me try to shift this one. Okay. This is linear zone of granular fissures, a high-grade metamorphic tectonite which separates the Archean granitoid greenstone terrains of Zimbabwe, craton in the north, and from basically Kaapvaal craton in the south, isn't it? And then forming what is currently known as the Kalahari craton, right? So this is a zone of gneiss, okay? And if you can check, gneiss is a metamorphic rock, which is defined by some bending, isn't it? Yes. So and it's about 7 kilometers long. Can you now see that? Oh, this is very long and it's very wide. And then basically it was formed when Zimbabwe craton was colliding with the Kaapvaal craton, and then obviously, which is why we say it was subjected to a major tectonic event at about 2 billion years ago. But we're going to be talking about the metamorphic history. So basically, the Limpopo Mobile Belt has been affected by mainly 3 events. All right. So we're going to talk more about those events as time goes by. It has been subjected to a deformation history, quite unlike that of the Archean cratons, meaning the metamorphic deformations that affected the Limpopo Mobile Belt are not the same as the metamorphic events which affected the Kaapvaal craton in South Africa and the Zimbabwe craton in Zimbabwe. So these cratons, they have been subjected to different metamorphic events than those that were taking place in the Zimbabwe craton. And the belt forms 3 distinct zones. I've explained that we've got the Southern Marginal Zone, the Central, and the Northern Marginal Zone. And these, they are marked by the major boundaries, all right? They're marked by major boundaries and obviously the shear zones. So we've got, let's dive right into the Northern Marginal Zone. So in the north, we've got obviously the Northern Marginal Zone, and the Northern Marginal Zone is closer to the Zimbabwe craton. But now we have to understand that the Zimbabwe craton, it has got high radioactivity. It has got high radioactivity. So because of the high radioactivity in the Zimbabwe craton, and the Northern Marginal Zone is closer to the Zimbabwe craton. So that in itself, it tells you that the Northern Marginal Zone has got relatively high radioactivity. All right. So and then as I've explained that the zone is separated from the Zimbabwe craton by what you call the Tulisabi shear zone. If you don't want to talk much about the Tulisabi, you can say Ulali, all right, as I've explained previously. So as I've explained that we've got 3 major events. So we've got the first event, second, and the third. But now the second one, which happens at about 2.6 billion years ago, it was the one which was affecting the Northern Marginal Zone. Okay, so the second metamorphic event has a significant amount of felsic magma generated. So we've got some magma that were generated by this event. This event is characterized by the intrusion. Now, of course, now remember, if we have got an intrusion, we know that the rocks here, they are going to be baked. Okay, they're going to be baked. This is what you call them contact metamorphism. This is what you call them contact metamorphism. At around 26 billion years. So it means that the Northern Marginal Zone, it was intruded, all right? It was intruded at this age, which is why we've got a bit of felsic magma as well that were generated. All right. Now, because of like if you can check here, let's look at this map. Now, one would agree with me that this level was here initially. We might assume that this level was here initially. But now, if we can now look at this, the Zimbabwe craton, we've got the north part of the Zimbabwe craton, and we've got the south part of the Zimbabwe craton. But now look at the south part of the Zimbabwe craton. It's now at a certain depth. It's like it has been pushed a bit downward. Now it means basically the rocks over here in the south, okay, of this Zimbabwe craton, they were pushed a bit downward. It means they are highly metamorphosed, all right? They are highly metamorphosed. It means here we are talking about intense pressures and moderate temperatures, isn't it? Now, because of these intense pressures, all right, moderate temperatures, we're going to be forming the rocks such as machanokites and endobites. So these are the rocks which usually formed because of the intense pressures and obviously temperatures. So we might assume that the temperatures might be because of the intrusion, and then the pressure might be because of the depth of the Zimbabwe craton in the south, right? So the chanokites and endobites were formed by melting continental crust, right? Were formed by melting continental crust. Remember, we've said that the Northern Marginal Zone, it has got felsic magma that were generated. So obviously, this felsic magma that were generated, obviously they resulted in chanokites and endobites. And then obviously, and we represent the southern margin of the Zimbabwe craton at a deeper crustal level. You've seen that in the south of the Zimbabwe craton, we are at a certain depth. So because of that high pressures and temperatures, that could have resulted also in chanokites and endobites. All right. So chanokites are developed locally, usually as a cause of major donor structures, and chanokitic gneisses are widespread. Right. So it means we've got gneisses that are also of chanokitic composition. Chanokites is an orthopyroxene bearing granitic rocks. So it means these are the granites which are having high amount of orthopyroxene, right? Remember, orthopyroxenes are the pyroxenes at low temperatures, whereas clinopyroxenes are the pyroxenes at approximately high temperatures. All right, and then they make up only a tiny fraction of the granitic rocks worldwide. It means the chanokites and endobites, they do not make out of 100% of the granitic rocks globally. It might take a bit of 2% or 3%. Okay. On the other hand, endobite is an igneous rock of chanokite cells. All right, consisting essentially of quartz. So it means endobite has got quartz, antipethite. All right, or sometimes you can have pethite. Right, remember pethite are those minor. It's like a striations, kind of like. All right, so pethitic texture. All right, so please note that we've got quartz, antipethite, and then also orthopyroxene and a bit of magnetite. But now this endobite is equivalent to orthopyroxene bearing tonalite. It means the tonalite, remember the tonalite is from what we call the TTGs. Remember that trongenite, tonalite, and the erandite. So these are the TTGs. So the tonalite, so that is bearing the orthopyroxene, it's equivalent to these endobites. All right. So as you can see that we've got greenish materials, which basically shows you that these are orthopyroxides. So remember the granites, which are having a bit of or high amount of orthopyroxides, are called the chanokites. But now these rocks, they represent a tiny fraction of the granitic rocks that are formed globally. All right. And then what do you call them? Enderbites. Remember, now these rocks were formed mainly by intense pressures and temperatures, and why they're likely to be formed in the Limpopo Mobile Belt, because Limpopo Mobile Belt, it's a zone that is characterized by high metamorphic grade. What is a metamorphic grade? Metamorphic grade is associated with intense pressures and temperatures, isn't it? Towards the granulite fascies, which is why in the Limpopo Mobile Belt there's the fascies called granulite. All right, so let's look this diagram QAP. Okay, now this diagram will show you it has been obviously um, used by Ronald Frost in 2007. So this scientist was trying to classify the rocks of the Chanokite series, right? But now we are focusing on the Chanokite and the enderbites. So these are the rocks that we're talking about. So this is how the rocks of the Chanokite series are classified. All right. So I hope it makes sense. Let me. Okay. Now we are done with the northern marginal zone. We are into the central marginal zone. That do not forget that the central marginal zone is bounded in the north by the northern marginal zone, in the south by the southern marginal zone. Now this zone, the zone between the southern marginal zone and the northern marginal zone, isn't it? Because it's at the center. All right. Now, this zone shows high radioactivity. Why it has got high radioactivity? Because it's closer to the Zimbabwe region, which has high radioactivity. So it means it is more associated with the Zimbabwe craton than the Kaapvaal craton, because the Kaapvaal craton has got low radioactivity. So it means the Kaapvaal craton, because of its low radioactivity, it will have now similar characteristics with what we call the southern marginal zone. But we are still going to talk much about the southern marginal zone. So now the central marginal zone, it consists of the high-grade metamorphism of sediments and quartz feldspathic gneisses and mafics. All right, we've got mafic rocks, we've got quartz feldspathic gneisses, and we've got high-grade metamorphism of sediments. All right, so it means most of the metamorphic events were happening in the central marginal zone. And we can talk about at least two tectonic events, but we're going to talk a bit about those in the later stage. All right. So it includes the St. River Gneiss, the major rock. It's St. River Gneiss. I'm going to show you what scientists found in the south of the south of Musina. We found these scientists found this St. River Gneiss, which is interpreted as the depositional basement to the supracrustal bait bridge complex. So it's like we have got the bait bridge complex. Okay, it's like we've got the bait bridge complex as a base. Now on top of this bait bridge complex, we've got now this St. River Gneiss, because it is interpreted as a depositional basement, right, to the supracrustal bait bridge complex. All right, so it's like we've got the bait bridge complex, and then this St. River Gneiss, it was there. All right, so the St. River Gneiss contains many deformed mafic dikes. All right, we've got the mafic dikes that are intensely deformed, and then we are not surprised why these rocks are deformed, because they were affected by a series of metamorphic events. Okay, now they have the central marginal zone, as I've explained, is flanked to the north and south by major shear zones. okay, of shear belts and granulite terrains. Okay, the central marginal zone is bounded in the north by triangle shear zone, okay, and then in the south by banana shear zone, as I've shown you on that map. This event is characterized by, we're talking about the third event, but I'm going to explain them further. We've got the third event which happened right in the central marginal zone at this age. 3.2 to 2.9 billion years ago. This event is characterized by felsic magmatic activity and formation of the Sand River gneisses. All right, so we've got the formation of the formation of the Sand River gneisses. All right, now I hope it makes sense, but we're gonna talk a bit about the Sand River gneiss shortly. The central zone of the Limpopo Mobile Belt has emerged as a distinct entity. So it's like we're having a mobile belt within another mobile belt. All right. So we've got a mobile belt within another mobile belt, which is why we're saying central marginal zone is intensely deformed. Okay. The zone is characterized by complex relationships between reworked basement and a cover sequence known as the Messina formation. So the Messina formation is the cover sequence. So it's like if we have got a rock here, and then with the cover, it will be the rock above. So the major, or this zone is characterized by the complex relationships between reworked basement. So the basement, it has been reworked, obviously, by what? By these major tectonic metamorphic events. So the basement has been reworked, and then now the cover is what we call the Messina formation. So that it means Messina formation is right on top of the reworked basement. Okay. Major anorthite complexes occur within the central zone, and in each case, these complexes appear to have intruded the Messina formation. Okay, so the anorthite complexes, so it's like they have got intruded right here. They have intruded right here. Right? They've intruded right here. Okay, or they appear to have intruded the Messina formation. Obviously, it would have started from the base until we intrude the top part, which is the cover. The zone underwent metamorphism and deformation during at least two significant tectonic thermal episodes or series or events, which led to the creation of a unique tectonic style and complicated basement cover connection. It means because of the at least two events which happened in the central zone, this made it, highly deformed. It highly deformed the cover and now the basement and the cover to be highly deformed. So it means it's difficult to see what really happened. Complicated basement cover connection or relationship. It means we don't we can't easily unravel what happened between the basement and the cover, right? Because of the two intense metamorphic events. All right, it means they've obscured the relationship. So, which is why we're saying the central marginal zone, it's a mobile belt within another mobile belt. All right. So we've got now the Sand River gneiss. We've got the Sand River gneiss. All right. We've got the Sand River gneiss. Wow. Now look at the Sand River gneiss closely. We've got magmatic texture. Can you see? You see, this is magmatic texture. It's like melting. Remember, magmatite is formed at high temperatures, all right, at the upper limit of metamorphic metamorphic rocks, wherein you start to have a mixture between metamorphic rock and the igneous rock. So basically, magmatite is the mixture between metamorphic and igneous, because now you have that metamorphic rock that started to melt. Now that bit of melting, it would form what you call a magma type. So it means we need intense temperatures. We need intense temperatures. All right. Now, which is why we see the magma textures. And now look at these rocks. Look at these rocks. Look at this tonality gneiss. It is highly folded. It is highly folded. Wow. Wow. Now it means why it is highly folded. It has been folded because of it underwent because of the Limpopo Mobile Belt underwent a series of metamorphic events. Now think of this, spending billions and billions of years, all right, undergoing these intense metamorphic events. Now, obviously, it will fold. So it is intensely folded. Now, and you can also see that these rocks are sheared because of we've got the thrusting, the shearing, and many other events that were happening. So which is why we've got these rocks are highly sheared, they are highly folded, and we've got now magmatic textures. So these are the Sand River gneiss that we see right at the south of Mosina, all right, the south of Mosina, Limpopo province. Now, the Southern Marginal Zone, on the other hand, as I've explained already, that this marginal zone has got low radioactivity because it has got a close relationship with the Kaapvaal craton in South Africa. So, because Kaapvaal craton has got low radioactivity, all right, and then obviously this zone forms a high grade of metamorphic equivalent of granitoid greenstone assemblages of the Kaapvaal craton, isn't it? With which it shares the anomalously low radioactivity, as I've explained. The boundary between the Southern Marginal Zone and the Kaapvaal craton is Hound River shear zone, as I've explained. However, the boundary between the Southern Marginal Zone and the Central Marginal Zone is marked by the Kalahari shear zone, as I've explained. Right? So at about 2.7 billion years, there was thrusting of the Southern Marginal Zone onto Kaapvaal craton along the Hound River shear zone. Right, this thrusting is evident in the third event. So, at about this age of 2.7 billion years, we have got thrusting. It means we had this central marginal zone, we've got Kaapvaal like this, and then this Kaapvaal was thrusting like this. So that's basically what happened, and obviously it's the third event is the definition of the third event, right? And then we've got the metamorphic history in the Limpopo Mobile Belt. We've got 3 metamorphic events. We've got the one which happens at 3.2 to 2.9 billion years, and we've got 2.6 billion years, and the last one, which is 2.0 or 2 billion years, which is the third event. Right? So if you can check these events, I've arranged them from the oldest to the youngest. Sorry. So the first event is largely obscured by later events. It means we don't see the effect of the first event in rocks. Why? Because of the other events they have. It's like they've erased the traces of the first event. Right? So it's largely obscured. This event is characterized by the felsic magmatic activity and formation of the Sand River gneiss. Right? The Sand River gneiss. Don't forget in the central marginal zone. Moreover, there is evidence of a very early event of over 3.6 billion in the Sand River gneiss. It means in the Sand River gneiss, which are about 3.6 billion years old, we've got now the recent not recent, but the metamorphic event which happened early. All right. So thus the belt had a complicated tectonic history. It's not easy to understand what really happened. All right, because of because of the later events which now erased the traces of the first event. Okay. So, which is why we say it is impossible to unravel the first event. The second event also has a significant amount of felsic magma generated. All right, where basically in the Northern Marginal Zone. That's what we're trying to think of. It could have been the one which formed the Chanokites and the Enderbites. All right. And then the third one we've got it is characterized by large granite balcony formed in the northern and the southern marginal zone. And now we've got the thrusting, yes, I've explained that we've got the thrusting of the southern marginal zone onto the Kaapvaal craton along the Hout River shear zone at this age, and is also evident in the third event. So it means this thrusting of the southern marginal zone onto the Kaapvaal craton is also evident in the third event. So basically, these are the major metamorphic events which happened in there, or which affected the high-grade metamorphic rocks of the okay. All right. So sorry about that. What's happening? So that, yeah. So the history of that, basically, we've got so many controversies. I mean, this is science. It has got their viewpoints, all right? So let's hear what people are saying. Other people are saying this is not an orogeny as such. Okay, this is not an orogeny as such between what? Between the Kaapvaal craton and the Zimbabwe craton. Okay, why people are having an argument that this is not a straightforward orogeny between the Kaapvaal craton and the Zimbabwe craton. This is because of the belt. It makes it difficult to unravel what actually happened. So, which is why we say this is a very long and complicated story. All right, it's a very complicated story. Now, why is it also complicated? Why people are failing to understand what actually happened? This is because an orogeny, it takes a few million years at most. A few million years. But now what happened with the Limpopo Mobile Belt? Limpopo Mobile Belt, it took more than what an orogeny is usually taking. Oh, which is why there are some controversies of how this Limpopo Belt came about. Now, this age of 600 to 1,000 million years, it's much longer than your usual orogeny. So usual orogenies, they take few million years. But now this one, it takes about 600 to 1,000 million of years. So this age is longer. So we're starting to ask ourselves, but why does it take much longer than usual orogenies? Okay, so modern orogenies that are of Phanerozoic in age, okay, they're relatively quick, about less than 20 million years. But now look at the Mobile Belt. It took it's it's a longer period of time because we are having, think of the gap between 600 and 20. It's a long period. So the recent orogenies are very quick and they're taking less time, right? But this event this is evident that the evolution of the Limpopo Mobile Belt took place over a very long period of time. Okay, it took place over a long period of time, which is unusual to us because we know that orogeny it takes less time, but this one it took longer period of time. Now, it is therefore considered that mantle plumes must have played a role. So we started now to remember we are arguing about how could this Limpopo Mobile Belt came about, because usual orogeny is that we are familiar with it less time, but this one it took longer period of time. Then scientists started to come up with some theories of how this Limpopo Mobile Belt could have came about. Now, someone suggested a mantle plume. Don't forget that a mantle plume is just a stagnant source. Okay, it's the stagnant source of magma. Now, this mantle plume could have played a role. Now, some insist that it formed as an area of high metamorphic terrain between the cratons. And but now, in contrast, other scientists suggested that it was a separate floating slab of a continent like that was caught between the two craters. Okay, so now can you see that people are having different perspectives of how on how the Limpopo Mobile Belt came about. So these people were trying to someone suggested that Limpopo perhaps. Some suggested that this was a floating slab, and then someone suggested that this must have been an area of high metamorphic terrain between these two cratons, which is the Zimbabwe craton and the Kaapvaal craton. But now, as I've explained in the beginning, that the Limpopo Mobile Belt, the age that I gave you in the beginning, that is of 2.7 billion years ago, this age it's also controversial. It's also controversial because the age is also has got some controversies, with some arguing that it formed at around 2.7 billion years. Most people agree, I have agreed on that. But now, while some support the 2 billion years for the formation of this belt, so we've got 2 ages. Now, I don't know that you would support which one, but this is science. We're not saying the first one is wrong. We're not saying the second one is right, or the second one is right, the first one is it's wrong. This is science. We are just speculating, all right? So these are two school of thoughts about the ages. So we're not saying someone is wrong, we're not saying someone is right. This is science until you make further researches and trying to support one another. But when you support maybe let's say the first one or the second one, you're not saying the second one is wrong. No, this is science. Please, let's do further research and unravel the mysteries of the Archean age, or the accretion of the Limpopo Mobile Belt. Right? Don't forget that when the accretion is happening now, this would form this will grow the continents, right? So I think this brings us to the end of our lesson. Thanks, ladies and gents, for joining us today as we were discussing the Limpopo Mobile Belt. All right. So please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, to like, and also hit the ring bell below. And also, please, guys, comment and tell us what other topics we can cover next, and then what should we do to improve. Like, we are people who make mistakes, and we are trying to grow ourselves in the geological world. So I know we've got people who are more experienced than us. So please, guys, have an input in what we're doing, so that we can be better 10 years later. Thanks for joining us today. Until next time, cheers.